Even a stupid clock can be right twice a day. Here we have Bob Iger. Bob Stupid Iger, who had just recently won his proxy battle against Nelson Peltz, so he's going to be getting everything that he wants to continue to ruin the legacy of Walt Disney. Good job, Bob. I wish you well in your future endeavors, and I'll be watching, well, not actually watching, just paying attention to the aftermath and how quickly the Magic Kingdom does burn down. It shouldn't take all that long because you're shockingly bad at your job, but you are right to point this out. And this is why this stuff is so nefarious. They're trying to gaslight you. This is just another tactic because, yeah, the likes of Disney, all of the big movie houses that have been out there for, the past decade and a half, probably longer. I'd argue it started in the mid-90s with the first wave of political correctness. But I digress on the certain situation that we have right here. Bob Iger, when asked about the woke Disney criticism, it's laid bare for the world to see. You're pushing an agenda. You are trying to make the unnormal normalized, okay? You are overrepresenting a minority of people that are out there that A, don't want it, and B, it's not working. You're prioritizing pet projects over profits. He goes on to say this about the criticism. The term woke is thrown around rather liberally. No pun intended in that regard. I think a lot of people don't even understand really what it means. And like I said, broken clock twice a day, he is right in that situation. And that's why I'm very critical whenever I hear people just blanketly call things woke, woke. The boy who cried woke, the girl who cried woke. Hell, there's an entire cottage industry online spearheaded by the Daily Wire and their TradCon and TradThought ilk that just immediately point to something and say, that's woke. Well, define woke. It was hilarious. Shout out Censored Men on TikTok. Or I'm sorry, on Twitter rather. But they had this video and they caught this behind the scenes video of the chick who runs the libs of TikTok, right? You've seen what she's done throughout the years and, hey, nice that she's cataloging all of this stuff, but she was asked by people and she was given a speech at a college or something like that to just simply define woke, and she couldn't do it. That's your entire job. You're pointing out woke companies pushing woke practices, but you can't define woke? Gave you a nice elevator pitch right at the beginning. It's trying to normalize the unnormal, prioritizing far leftist agenda above all else. It's really simple stuff. And when you can point to specific examples, that's why I'm so upset whenever I hear somebody just blanketly call something that they don't like woke. Well, just point to the example. I'll make reference to it again because I'm going to in the future and continue to do it because I have plans of releasing something in regards to coverage of that video game in the very near future. And by very near, I mean by the end of the year. But Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, the game is tremendous. At time of recording, I still haven't beat it. At this point in time, I'm not going to tell you if I haven't beat it or not because I don't know how much more content, how much good quality content is still remaining in that game. I have no idea. But there are things that you can point to, and yeah, I've got some problems with it. There were some obvious girl power stuff, and hell, they even said it in there. It just kind of makes your toes curl and roll your eyes a little bit. But does it overall take away from the quality of the game? You're absurd to think so. It'd be like me saying that the graphics are absolutely terrible because during a couple of chocobo races, there was some obvious slowdown and a little bit of pop-in. Did it take away from the overall experience of the game? No. Was it a weird thing to have pop up? Absolutely. But when it comes to critique and the guys that I hold up in very high regard, I think that they do an excellent job of breaking down media. And I can learn a lot from them, even if it's not just simply talking about media. You can use that with everyday problems that pop up in regular life. Shout out to Mahler. I think he's the best at what he does. The Little Platoon is fantastic, okay? He's kind of a Mahler clone, Mahler baby, however you want to go ahead and define that. Covers a lot more stuff, but he's just as good and very intellectual. I like his content a lot. Critical Drinker, for very short form content, I think he does an exceptional job. Those guys I think are right there up on the top pantheon. There are other guys that I like and I watch and I listen to, but every once in a while, whenever they don't specifically know a reference, they're more than likely to just go ahead and throw that woke blanket over something. And guess what? It doesn't help anything. It doesn't help address the problem. It doesn't help fix the problem. Because when we just continue to just baselessly throw around those claims, accurate or not getting to the root problem. And you will continue to get articles just like this. I'm scared. Why it's a brutal time to be a TV writer. Well, here's the thing. And here's where Bob Iger is both right and incorrect because, people don't even know what woke is. Well, address the problem, okay, that your company is at the forefront of pushing those agendas. And given the market share that Disney has, they continue to put out crap like that, which used to be held in such high regard as being very high quality. People are going to go ahead and extrapolate that out to the wider industry, and their interest in engaging in said media is going to continue to precipitously drop. So yeah, you're going to have fewer TV writers, shows, platforms, because you guys pushing ideology, you guys pushing the message above everything else has eroded your audience base. You only have yourself to blame. Even though your critique of a certain situation might be correct, you are 1% correct. You are 1% correct in a 99% incorrect pie. Good on you. Progress, I'm sure. But here we have the story. We have the story of a TV writer who has done absolutely nothing and is getting their just desserts. You played your hand. You played into the easy position taking of having the acceptable opinions over the past decade and change. And now, because people are finally starting to realize that, we don't have to accept this stuff. There are alternatives out there. We can go ahead and not be subjected to this crap time and time again. Okay, cool. We're just going to go ahead and cut the cord and not engage with any of the stuff that we don't really like all that much. Emily Cheevers. It's so funny. It's always women who complain about this stuff. I was just getting started. 36-year-old, just getting started, began her TV writing career in 2020 as a writer's production assistant and script coordinator for Legends of Tomorrow. One of those awful CW Arrowverse shows. That's where you got started? That's unfortunate. That's very unfortunate because you were never, ever going to be building on a solid foundation. This shit was ass. Before getting hired as a staff writer for ABC's The Company You Keep. I've never heard of that before. That was on network television? All right. After the drama that marked Milo, some Ventimiglia's follow-up to This Is Us was canceled, thank God, following a single season shortly after the WGA strike began last May. Well, if it was canceled and not just simply postponed until after the strike, chances are it wasn't going to last much longer anyways. Cheevers had no job to return to when it ended in September. Oh no, like scores of other writers of all levels and backgrounds, she doesn't know when or where the next paycheck will come from. It's so funny. You started your writing career in 2020. Who was allowed to continue to work in 2020 and who was told to just stay at home, save lives? Otherwise, if you want to return to work, if you want to continue to earn a paycheck, you're going to be killing grandma. How could you squander 2 uninterrupted years of work like that and think that you're going to find any sympathy elsewhere? Female solipsism at work, man. People are scared. I'm trying to go back to bartending. Okay, cool. I'll have fun, I guess. A lot of people are wondering what other jobs they can do. Well, yeah, you're not very competent writers. Otherwise, you'd be in demand. I'm close with my old showrunners, and they're supportive of me, but they're looking for jobs. Yeah, because I've seen your work. You've laid it out there for the world to see. I don't recognize one of them, and the other one is associated with terrible dead IPs. So yeah, I can see why you're looking for work. Across the TV landscape, buying has cooled dramatically, and many writers now find themselves in situations like Cheevers, thankfully, with opportunities shrinking as the industry shifts from peak TV to an era of contraction and austerity, which you guys brought on by striking in the first place. Like, it was stupid then, it's stupid now, but guess what? You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes! As streamers like Netflix and Max right-size their slates, the broadcast pipelines for Peacock, Hulu, and Paramount Plus. Oh yeah, Paramount, the company that's on death's doorstep, which could end up folding into something else by the end of the year, by the way, or drying up. A decade ago, broadcasters collectively ordered as many as 98 pilots. Today, that number can be counted on one hand. Oopsie daisy. There are so few shows that are still being greenlit, so few new pilots that are being ordered, and fewer spots in writers' rooms. Wow, imagine that. It's almost like when you guys striked You guys were looking for assurances. You guys were looking for guaranteed work. And it's almost like in the process of doing that, you kind of cultivated an opinion of the studios that they're going to have to go out there and hire the most qualified, the most established, the best people for the job, and the hacks on the outskirts, or hell, even just the people trying to break into the industry, aren't going to have an opportunity at all until they're proven. So yeah, you kind of did this to yourself. This is according to, Shannon Corbeil. Go figure. A finalist for the Disney TV Writing Fellowship that was put on hold because of the WGA strike. Wow, imagine that. It's almost like that strike was a terrible idea. Staffing positions available are going to more seasoned writers. Yeah, the good ones. Big shock. And the pilots that are being purchased are being bought from proven writers. Yeah, instead of hacks that can come in and go, here's my script. I am a black, gay, disabled, gender fluid. It's like, okay, cool. That stuff doesn't work anymore. What about the quality of your work? Well, I worked at the CW. Okay, don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Brandon K. Hines spent more than a decade working in support staff jobs. Okay, being a gopher, how does that entitle you to future work? Okay, and a script coordinator for Comedy Central's Aquafina is Nora from Queens and Amazon's Harlem. What did you do? Like, I'll take that at face value that those are actually shows. How do I know that you even worked? You were, a support staff on two things that may or may not have existed. Why do you think that you're entitled to continue to work in a industry was killed from the inside out? What do you want? Hines was homeless. I'm sorry, what? And had been bouncing between camping, couch surfing, and friends and an occasional Airbnb before he turned to driving for DoorDash. So this dude was living on the street before he decided to get a job. After his 16-week writing job for Showtime Limited series concluded before the strikes began. So he had 16 weeks of work under his belt. Okay. And then he was homeless. So these people are financially illiterate. Okay, so that's another big thing that's on here. And they also have such level of hubris, which is normally reserved for women or for the incredibly feminized men, because they're probably just permeated and stuck in these same writers' rooms with these unfunny women. They have this level of hypergamy in their careers because, well, they never engage in meaningful, long-lasting, fruitful relationships. So that they just, once they achieve a certain level, they can never go back. And that's what we're seeing right here. Oh, these people. Oh, I was in a writing room. I was on a network television show. I wouldn't sully myself by going back to bartending. DoorDash. I was a writer. I deserve an opportunity to stay in this business. Nah, bro. Shit sucks. There are artists that have had hits on the Billboard Top 100 charts who have toured before. They're driving Uber. They're driving taxi. You don't hear about them because they're not complaining, because they don't have other industry rags popping up their sob story. You need multiple gigs a year to make a livable wage. No, you don't. You just A, don't have to live in Los Angeles, and B, not spend like a drunken sailor. That's another problem, man. You don't need that much money to get by. All you need is a work ethic and to check your ego at the door. These people are so goddamn talented, okay? They're just, they've got this billion-dollar script in their head, on paper, on the computer. They are just waiting for their opportunity. If you're so talented like that, why not start a YouTube channel? Why not give your advice? Why not counsel on social media? Oh, it's because you don't actually have any talent. You don't have work ethic. You just want an easy job. You just want big daddy government. You just want one of the big studios to cater to your ass. You just want to go to adult daycare. I'm glad things like this are happening. I'm glad hubristic individuals like Bob Iger think that they're really going back and they're owning the chuds by saying, you guys can't even define what woke is. Go ahead, continue to play stupid games, because as you're seeing, your prize, your gilded prisons that you have over there, they're slowly but surely, burning to the ground because of your own unchecked, unfettered egos. And in the next few years, we're going to see them all come crumbling down, because this year, we already know it's going to be a disaster. The biggest movie this year is the dumb lizard big monkey movie, okay? And it's likely to stay that way for a very long time. The quality of Hollywood's output is not going to get better in the short term. Might have a couple of TV shows, House of the Dragon being one of them, as a little bit of a bright spot. So reward the stuff that you like, and then just treat, not hate watch it all. No. That sends the wrong message, because a view is a view to these companies. You treat the stuff that you detest with absolute apathy, and you will see them disappear. That's the best that we can hope for moving forward, because things have got to change, but they only change once you take initiative. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.